It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to the Sunday night edition of the Mike Prince Show, live right here from the studios of the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We got a pretty good show lined up for you on today. We'll hear from Coach Gene Johnson of the Waller Bulldogs, recapping their battle against Magnolia West and the future plans against Magnolia. Back-to-back tall orders. We'll also hear from Mr. Rob Butler of the Southland Report. We'll discuss some things that are going on throughout the Southland Conference and get you caught up on the world of football as it is and as we've been seeing it thus far. Week 7, my beloved Steelers sitting at the catbird seat, 7-0. And without that being said, let us jump right into tonight's episode. Well, as we may mention, thank you all for joining in with us on this evening. The hour has been set back, and believe it or not, that's kind of got me thrown off a little bit, but we will get adjusted. You know how it goes. I just wish they would set it one way and be done with it, but it is what it is. We got a lot to talk about. Big weekend over the course of the weekend. The Texans had a bye week. Cowboys are playing Sunday night football. The Steelers go 7-0. And guess who meets next week? The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. I know that I'm not going to hear much, and I'm going to hear a bunch of excuses. But it is what it is. I'm not one to rub it in. But I do stand proud, stand tall with my team, rain, sleet, snow, or shine. Texas A&M Aggies take care of business against Arkansas. I thought that game was going to be a lot closer than what it was, but the Aggies took full control of that one. How about Ohio State? Not Ohio State, but Oklahoma State, forgive me, giving it up to Texas. And it was still something to behold. Lot of high school action, rough night for Waller County. Royal Falcons, Hempstead Bobcats, Waller Bulldogs all fall a bit short, but the Rose Hill Christian Eagles were able to come out on top and secure a playoff spot for them. We'll talk to Coach Dennis Krantz throughout the course of the week, get that scenario lined up. So we will have some high school broadcasts here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network. The Bulldogs had a tall order. They come up against Magnolia West, and Magnolia West pretty dominant. They and Magnolia having pretty strong years this year, plus their district opponents for the Bulldogs. We'll hear from Coach Gene Johnson and get that breakdown of everything. Hampton has made the announcement in the world of college athletics that they will forego the spring season and any other season as they just shut it down to hopeful that there's a better outcome for 2021. So that more than likely has thrown the spring football concept as a whole in the ringer for the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. And it's not too alarming. Well, I guess if you want to believe the handwriting on the wall. Bethune-Cookman had announced earlier, but when you look at it and you add up the dollars, it doesn't make sense. These tests cost. No one is funding them, and it's an additional $300,000 to $500,000 depending on the type of testing that you choose to use. And the budgets are just strapped. Even the large budgets are strapped for it. And I don't know why people are walking in denial about that. But we'll discuss that as we get closer to it. I'm going to take us a break, and we'll get ready for our first guest on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Hotline, and that is a football coach for the Waller Bulldogs, Coach Gene Johnson. You're listening to Sunday Night Live edition right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We'll take us a break, and we'll be right back.
Your education, your health care, your community, your future. Your vote counts for many things. Take control. Get registered. Get educated. Get out and vote. Learn more at www.vote411.org. This is a public service announcement from Open Mic Broadcast Network.
One voice. It can get the point across, but it only carries so far. Add a voice. It's richer, louder, but that has limits too. Add a third voice. It's even more powerful. Add another, and another, and many, many more. And we are stronger than ever. That's the power of a community coalition. They help community groups, faith groups, civic organizations, PTAs, employers, and many others in your community organize their resources and focus them where they're needed most, like fighting to keep kids away from drugs. Ask a group that you belong to if they should belong to a community coalition. It's easy to get involved. Visit helpyourcommunity.org and they'll tell you exactly how your group can help. That's helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more when we get together. Brought to you by the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
This broadcast is being made possible by the support of the Prairie View Athletic Club. The Prairie View Athletic Club is a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics. For more information on becoming a member of the Prairie View Athletic Club, send your email to pvathletic.club@gmail.com. That email address again is pvathletic.club@gmail.com. Prairie View Athletic Club, a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics.
Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union has 13 different locations to better serve you. Locations in Rosenberg, Missouri City, Katy, College Station, Bryan, Brenham, and Waller, Texas. For more information, you can contact them on their toll-free number, 855-391-2149. Or you can send an email to information@bvscu.org. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sunday Night Live. We're going to head over to the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline, and we'll have on the line the head football coach for the Waller Bulldogs, none other than Coach Gene Johnson. Coach, how you doing on this evening, sir?
Doing great.
All right. Well, a rough loss, but we knew going in with our eyes wide open this was a tall order. Magnolia West victorious over the Bulldogs, 56-28. I want you to give your summary recap, and I give you what we saw on the call of the Friday night game. But go ahead, Coach, if you can, and recap us on what you guys saw from the sidelines.
Sure. A disappointing loss, to be sure. We were coming in undefeated in district play, and they were coming in, I believe, undefeated in district play as well. And I think the experience of their program got us a little bit. I don't know that I think we probably had their attention after winning our first two district games. We drew Mag West's full attention, and they were ready and got us, came out and hit us in the mouth, and we didn't respond on a couple of things, and even some of the early scores, though, I get really frustrated. They were blown coverages, There were so many positives that we pull out of the game from a standpoint of, I think they had 150 yards rushing. We had 150 yards rushing. And really the difference in the game came on the passing side of it. And there's probably 4 or 5 plays there that we cut loose some things in coverage, and gave up some scores. And, I think we talked today as a staff, just, we would really like to get the execution errors out of the way, so we still don't know. I'm not sure how we match up against them because, certainly they had a couple plays there where their guys just made great plays, but we dropped the ball on executing some things. And we got to get that fixed because, you won't give yourself a chance if you're not executing well.
Absolutely. Now, one thing that I noticed right away, Coach, and it appears that there was a little bait and switch routine going on, that there were a lot of extracurricular conversations on the broadcast. We said inviting each other for holiday dinners, but we know it was more than that going on. But it appears that was part of the game plan. Did it seem like that to you?
Well, I think that is definitely something that they do, and they talk a lot, and and there's a whole lot of different points of view on trash talking, so to speak, on every level, from high school to college to NFL. But we just try to talk to our guys about, the fact that, number one, you can't respond in a manner that's going to do anything to hurt your team, and you can't respond to what they're doing in any way that would affect your performance. And we did okay on that. There were a few times where I thought that, we allowed it to affect our performance. And that's something that we got to work on and continue to improve. Because at the end of the day, you have to think about the things that we have control over. And the things that we have control over are how we perform and how we play. And we can't control what someone else is doing, whether it's right or wrong. We're still not in control of it. And so there was a lot of talking and emotions, and I don't want our kids to feel like they have to back down to anyone, but again, we try to keep focus on, let's not do anything that hurts our team or our performance.
Absolutely. Now, me being a little bit of old school coach, and I think you and I have talked and touched on certain things before, I kind of saw that as a spark. And a spark in the right direction. Yeah, there was some bad timings, but we're talking about teenagers with a whole bunch of testosterone floating around. And the guys kind of stood their ground a little bit. And it was one of those games that I expected coming up this week, coming up against Magnolia as well, but not as bad as it has been with Mag West. But that's just the nature of the flavor. What did you see on the positive side about how you guys answered to the adversity and they did to college? Because this game really boiled down, Coach, as you mentioned, to a couple of big plays and some blown opportunities. What was the positive message that you had for you guys at the end of this one?
Well, we will come back and watch that film, and I want to show the kids those 6 or 7 or 8 plays. Our first possession, we had a play blocked really well, but we didn't pull the tackle and get the kick out block that we needed, and so it resulted in a 3 and out. And we talked about, we played the bubble screen really well, and then they ran the fake bubble screen, and we just totally dropped the coverage. So I want to show those, because I think that, you kind of talking about what positives, and I'm talking about negative plays. But if you take away those few things, I think then you see that we did a lot of things really well. And we had 2 touchdowns that were, one, we fumbled the ball at the goal line going in, and then we had one called back on just what a great 86-yard run by Godfrey,
Hey, those are some of my best calls. Those are some of my best calls of the night, Coach, and they didn't stick, man.
They didn't. And Caleb made great plays on both of them. He found the tight end vertical when they cut him loose in coverage, and Caleb stood in the pocket, made the throw, and then he read his block. He cut off that center and then read his tackle block and did such a great job on that draw play. And Josh Schultz was downfield blocking and something that I really thought was a call that probably could have been left in the pocket,
Yes, sir.
And that flag could have been left in that hip pocket. But I think those 2 plays and some of the other things that we did throughout the course of the game, there's certainly a lot of positives that we'll try to show the kids that we're getting closer, we're getting better. We just have to eliminate the big play, as you mentioned. And
we still talking about a relatively young team that you're dealing with, Coach. And I think part of the big momentum swing that I saw is toward the end of the first half. We got under a minute left. Stewart just gets in to make it a 2-touchdown deficit. But then you turn around and give up that long drive. And I think that was the point of no return, where you could see some of the air get a little bit deflated out that Bulldog balloon.
Well, it did. That we talked as a staff about that last 2 minutes of the half, and there wasn't a whole lot of time left on that clock. I think maybe 51 seconds, if I recall. And if we're going to be a good football team, we cut that to 2 scores, as you mentioned. We've got to tee the ball up, kick it deep, pin them down, play that 51 seconds out and get out of there and get into the second half. And we didn't do that, as you mentioned. We gave up a couple big plays and made it a 3 touchdown deficit. And then even so, there's so many people that talk about the last possession of the first half and the first possession of the second half, and that Godfrey's run was that first possession of the second half. And
yes, sir.
So there's 14 points, 7 for them and -7 for us, that really kind of put us in a bad position there at the end of the second half and the beginning of or end of the first and beginning of the second.
Well, a newsflash for you, Coach. It doesn't get any easier. You got the Battle of the Bulldogs this week coming up with Magnolia. Another strong. There's something about Magnolia in the water this season, man. Both of these programs are looking pretty strong this year.
They are. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed not to argue they're at the top of the district. I think one of them's already beaten College Station, and one of them's beaten Lufkin. And so they are 2 of the better programs, if not the top 2 in our district. And so we're kind of in the middle of a part of our schedule here that's really tough, and we've got to hunker down. And but again, and I hate to sound redundant in what I say, we've got to take our mind and thoughts off our opponent and focus on us. And, I think we come out of that last game. I'd like to cut the execution mistakes out, and now we get a chance to see where we are when you kind of match tit for tat and see how our talent matches up. And so that's something that we'll focus on at practice and trying to eliminate execution mistakes.
Absolutely. And I noticed that you were rotating at your quarterback position and your line play. Everybody getting back in the swing of things health-wise?
We are. We had just about all of those guys back, 4 of those 5 offensive linemen that had to sit back. And, of course, all the credit goes to Godfrey. He came in one day before Friday, before the game, and tried to learn the game plan and throw some routes with some of the guys and get some timing. And so we felt like, Jordan Duncan was going to play the 3rd series of the game no matter what. If Caleb had taken us down to 2 touchdowns, we were going to play Jordan, just simply because Jordan worked his tail off all week long filling in and felt like he earned that. And so I was so happy at the end of the game when he got in to throw the little post route for a touchdown and got him some experience. That'll bode well for a freshman down the road. Right.
Well, I was saying, to his credit, he held his own down and was played with some poise and was able to make most of the reads for the most part and didn't try to force the throws in, which is what you always expect for your backup guy. Hey, man, don't be the hero. Just keep us in the game. And I think he did his part. Now, you got to give me some insights. And his name is escaping me right now, but it was number 9. Had some pretty good runs on Friday night.
Yes. Of course, Deontay Fleeks, but all the kids, he goes, you'll love this. It's Day. So I can't think of him as anything else. But,
Now, you shouldn't have told me that one, Coach. You shouldn't have told me that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We want to get it out there, and hopefully, I don't know if he listens, but he's got a neat little nickname, Day. But Deontay Fleeks is great young man. His sister played basketball here at Waller, and he actually moved to Willis for a year to live with his dad, and now he's back, joined us, and here living with mom. And so we just got him back this year, played him at safety a little bit, but he's got a lot of potential. We really, really love him.
Yes, sir. A little scat back, and he was a little change of flavor. I call Lewis and Stewart Thunder and Lightning, and I guess he would be a little bit of a flash. So
he would.
Pretty good look on things, and I know that it's always tough to take a loss, but you gain something out of it, and you make the preparations for Magnolia. And I know it's still early, and you're still developing the game plan, but what are some of the things that Magnolia likes to do?
Well, they are physical up front. Probably maybe the best offensive line we play, and that's saying a lot because we scrimmage C.E. King, who's I believe 5-1 in 6A level, and so they are very talented up front, big, fast, strong, athletic offensive line. Defensively, I think they start with their defensive line interior as well, and so we will have to. We'll have to control the line of scrimmage, and that's something that they will present a huge challenge to us in that area this week.
Okay, well, we're going to make sure that they have the feed that we can go ahead and broadcast the game here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. But it's a unique way we're doing it, but it's a lot of fun, Coach, and it's a joy to be able to partner up with you guys and present this for the community and abroad. And we want to give you some closing thoughts and comments for this week's wrap-up, Coach, and the floor is now yours.
Well, I guess if I haven't already said it, following up with what you just said, I can't I can't say how much I appreciate you guys in a year where we are with 2020, with COVID and the uncertainty of, what's going on with things. Some people aren't able or are willing to travel and see the games and get out, out of precautionary measures. And so what we're doing with streaming it and broadcasting games for these kids, and for maybe a grandmother or a grandfather that can't make it to the game, to give them an opportunity to see them play. We appreciate that so much. And so I guess we'd say thanks for that. And, the only other thing is this is, we're still growing as a program, and we're going to continue to push and drive and fight and continue to ask our community to get behind these boys and love on them and support them and go Dogs.
Absolutely. Go Dogs. He is Coach Gene Johnson of the Waller Bulldogs on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. 13 locations to better serve you. One right here in Waller, Texas. So be sure to check them out. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're going to take us a break, and we'll come back with more of tonight's coverage here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network and the Sunday night live edition of the Mike Prince Show.
We'd like to recognize sponsors. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street in Hempstead, Texas. Their phone number is 979-826-8008. Diva Skin Conditioner, located at divafeet.com, D-I-V-A-H feet.com. Their phone number, 903-270-0026. Prairie View Athletic Club, serving student athletes since 1986. Their phone number is 936-857-5817. Temple of Refuge Ministries, located in Prairie View, Texas, at 45372 Old Highway 290. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, several locations to serve you. Katy, Rosenberg, Brenham, Bryan, College Station, and Waller, Texas. Their phone numbers, toll free, 855-391-2149. If you or your business would like to be a part of the sponsorship team here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, contact us at 832-213-8824.
If you could do one thing to make an impact on the things that matter to your family, your community, and your country, wouldn't you do it? That's what voting is all about. An easy way to make a difference. Register, learn about the issues and candidates, and vote this November. Your vote helps shape the future of America. Visit www.vote411.org to get started. This is a public service announcement from Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Broadcasters come into our lives on radio and TV, bringing us information and entertainment. Broadcasters are there for us, but who is there for them when they fall on hard times? The Broadcasters Foundation of America provides financial assistance to broadcasters in acute need due to a critical illness, accident, or other serious misfortune. If you know of a broadcaster on the air or behind the scenes who may need our help, please share our message. Visit broadcastersfoundation.org.
Hello, this is Alonzo Hardy Jr., the president of the SWAC Alumni Association. The SWAC Alumni Association is an organization founded on December 10, 1999, at the Sheraton Hotel in Birmingham, Alabama. Its mission is to serve as a rallying ground for individuals who have made the Southwestern Athletic Conference the illustrious conference that it is today. Its membership is open to former student athletes who played in the conference in any sport, as well as to coaches, athletic administrators, staff members, game officials, and fans. Annually, the association holds a Legends Awards and Roast Banquet or luncheon where it honors individuals with Lifetime Achievement Awards, a Chuck Prophet Wagon Master Award, and occasionally a Distinguished Service Award. Proceeds from that event help to finance degree completion scholarships for student athletes who have exhausted their playing eligibility at SWAC universities, but who may still need an extra semester or two to complete their college studies. For more information on the SWAC Alumni Association, or to get information on becoming a member, you can send correspondence to SWAC Alumni Association, 875 Miller Creek Lane, Newport News, Virginia, 23602. The email address is SWACalumniassociation@yahoo.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sunday Night Live edition of the Mike Prince Show. Mike Prince here with you. Want to thank Coach Gene Johnson joining us on our last segment. Talking about Waller Bulldog football. They will be in action again on Friday night, and you can listen to them live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. The Rose Hill Christian Eagles won last night by the score of 34. I said last night, but Friday night, by the score of 30-24. They'll have a bye this week, and then they'll get ready to take on Legacy out of Magnolia. And before you know it, they'll be in the playoffs. They qualify for the playoffs on their Friday night victory. And you can listen to the Rose Hill Eagles live right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network throughout their football, basketball, volleyball season. So be sure to check that out right here. As we were talking, we talked about Bethune-Cookman and Hampton University opting out of the spring. And the more you look at this thing, the way things are developing, do you think that there'll be a spring football at all? It's looking pretty sketchy right now. We talked about the cost of testing alone, talked about the availabilities of teams willing to play. And we know that there are certain teams who are adamant about not playing spring football. They want to get it in for the fall, which is leading up to who our next guest will be coming up on the next segment with talking about the possibilities of the shakeups that are going on at the Southland Conference. Now, there have been 4 invites to Southland opponents: Lamar University, Sam Houston State University, Abilene Christian, and Stephen F. Austin. If you are to shake those teams loose somehow from the Southland Conference to a would-be WAC opponent or division conference that's projecting to be an FBS conference, what kind of pickle does that put you in? Where does that leave the Southland? Would that leave the Southland to try to dangle a carrot to lure some SWAC schools? Or would the SWAC try to convince the Southland to come and be a part of something that's already beautiful at the Southwestern Athletic Conference to increase the footprint of the conference? There are a lot of uncertainties in the air because from time to time you'll hear the whispers of a Grambling and Southern wanting to opt out. You hear about Jackson State wanting to opt out. And there was even a kicking of the can down the road not so long ago about Texas Southern and Prairie View perhaps coming to the Southland Conference. Wouldn't want to see that, but you can never tell what is floating in the atmosphere. It's just been that type of year. With what we've seen in 2020, nothing would ever surprise me again. So would love to hear from you guys and see what you think about it. We'll probably run some polls throughout the course of the week here on the Open Mic and the Mike Prince Show. My Twitter handle is, of course, at the Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network. And don't forget to visit the website at obnradio.com. And for those of you who like to call in and leave your comments and questions, you can dial in to the 24-hour dial-in message line at 713-570-6736. We're going to take us a break and get ready to hear from Mr. Rob Butler and his infamous Southland reports that he does here for us at the open mic. Does an outstanding job. We'll get a chance to break down some of these future potential plans for the Southland Conference. So we're going to take us another break, and we'll be right back with Mr. Rob Butler on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Hotline. Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas. Have sports, will travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network serving student athletes from Little League, high school, and collegiate coverage right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. From coast to coast, from dusk till dawn. You can catch all student athletic action right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the station designed with you in mind. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics. At 17 cents a day, you can make a huge impact on our local and regional high school and college student athletic coverage. We provide local talk shows, live game coverage, and much, much more. But we need your support to continue to move forward. Visit our website today at obnradio.com. Click on the PayPal button, which is safe and secure, and become a listening partner today. Will you become part of the Open Mic Broadcast Network team? Visit that website at obnradio.com and become a listening partner today. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the voice of student athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show, Sunday Night Live edition. We have on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline none other than the man himself, Brother Rob Butler. How you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing great. I had a great weekend watching football, and I'm watching the Saints about to go to overtime with Chicago, but it hadn't been that bad. I'm doing well.
Well, you know, I'm a Steelers fan, so I was sitting on the edge of my seats earlier, but we pulled it off, man. We pulled it off.
Yeah, y'all did. Undefeated.
Yeah, I know that you said you're a Saints fan, but you're a Texan Cowboy guy, aren't you?
That's right. Yeah, I am. And you know what? I'm pulling for Dallas tonight. I especially like it when these FCS guys get to play, and that Ben DiNucci is a star at James Madison. So
yes, sir.
I'll be watching that.
Well, I hope DiNucci starts next week when they play my Steelers.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, is right. I want them to keep on doing whatever they're doing, and they can get better once we're done with them. How about that?
If that works for you, that'll work for me.
Yes, sir. Well, look, Rob, I want to let you know that you have become like a little cult favorite around here at the Open Mic, man. People love the reports that you do on the Southland Report and how informative you are and how energetic and passionate that you are about it. And it's a welcome addition to the Open Mic family. But there have been a lot of buzz going on about the Southland Conference as we know it now and the potential threats of this thing being broken up. A, do you believe what you're hearing? And then B, how do you respond to what could possibly be happening?
Well, here's the deal. The four schools, Abilene Christian, SFA, Sam, Lamar, three of them have released statements. Lamar is just like, mom's the word. They're not saying anything. But I think there are some valid arguments for joining another conference. I mean, I love the Southland Conference. I really do. But, I mean, if you have an opportunity to play at the FBS level, which I'm sure that's what this conference is going to be, you don't make this move unless you have the opportunity to play FBS. But you have some logistical challenges. a new WAC, you'd have to have an East Division. That'd be all Texas schools. You got Tarleton State. Does UT Rio Grande Valley, do they add football? I know they've done a feasibility study, and obviously you need a West Division. New Mexico State, they're FBS independent. You got Dixie State, which they're located in Utah, but they play at the FCS level. Southern Utah, Northern Arizona, maybe some other Big Sky schools, but Utah Valley, Grand Canyon, and Cal Baptist, they're all members, but they don't sponsor football. So they would need to spend gobs of cash just to have enough programs to resume FBS football. That's like a minimum 4-year process, and none of those schools have started it yet. So, I'm kind of skeptical how serious this thing is, really.
Well, and that's what I was thinking, unless, and I don't know if they would even do this, they try to switch over to this FBS conference and become independent in football. Do you think that's a possibility?
You know what? That's hard to say. I've pondered that myself. I know the WAC has a history of being a strong mid-major conference. It goes all the way back to BYU. And here's another thought. I mean, if we're adding schools, obviously you have the Big Four in the Southland, and you have Tarleton State. That gives you 5. UT Rio Grande Valley, if they do that feasibility study. Why not just take all the Texas schools? I don't know how serious Houston Baptist and Incarnate Word, if they have any FBS ambitions, but you would need some wealthy alum or a supporter to bankroll that entire athletic department and to invest in those facility upgrades to play at the FBS level. But it's not an impossibility. I mean, all you need really to play FBS football, you need a stadium that holds, let's say, minimum 20,000 plus. And you look at all the MAC schools. Coastal Carolina was playing at their stadium held like 15,000, but they just recently added probably about 10,000 seats. But there are a handful of schools that have stadiums below 20,000. But I would say that's a must if you're gonna do this with the intention of playing FBS football. Then you need to have a 20,000 plus stadium.
Well, the minimum requirement is 15,000 for FBS consideration, and so if they could get in between that 15,000, personally, I don't think it would be worth the investment. Whatever little return that you can get from becoming an FBS status program. After a while, you know what the number one complaint would be? Travel.
Yeah, that is a concern. That's the first thing I thought when I saw this report come out. There are some logistical challenges.
And with having those logistical challenges, you just, to me, you'd be better off just staying where you are and just try to make the best of what you have. Now, let's just say and put our crystal balls out in front of us that this comes to pass and these 4 Texas schools are gone. What happens now to those who remain in the Southland? Where does the Southland go? What do they do?
Well, I would say that they either they get dissolved into like the Big South, Ohio Valley, if the Southland Conference dissolves, or you bring up West Texas A&M. Now, they're in Amarillo, but, they have a strong Division II program. What about Angelo State? You got A&M Commerce. Some of those Division II programs would be willing and ready to make the jump to Division I and would be perfect for the Southland.
What about the financial commitments?
Well, let's not go into that. It takes too long. I don't know. No, me personally, no. I will tell you this: West Texas A&M, their stadium, if I'm not mistaken, they do have a 20,000 plus capacity stadium. I'm not positive, but they have played in something similar. And we know Don Carthel, what he's done there and all that in years past. But I believe that you wouldn't miss a beat really with these schools gone. I mean, you just have some schools just move up. Now there are financial commitments, that's true, but It's all up in the air, really. We have no idea what's going to take place, especially with this pandemic and what the financial constraints on these programs, and it's just a wait and see kind of thing.
No doubt about it. We're talking right now with Mr. Rob Butler on the Southland Report by way of the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union. I had another thought, Rob, or a couple other thoughts I want to run by you to see what you thought. And it's a very good possibility, knowing that the relationship that these two commissioners have with one another, talking about Mr. Bennett and Dr. McClellan. What if the SWAC tried to lure some of the teams to merge to increase the increase the SWAC, or the Southland tried to take some of the guys from the SWAC to increase the Southland? Do you think that's a possibility of conversation?
I'd be all for that, really. That and make it join that conference. I don't know if it will be FBS, but you could have a great FCS conference. And I know at one time Texas Southern was mentioned as a possible candidate for to join the Southland. I don't know how true that was, if that rumor had some teeth to it or not. But I'm all for that. I love these regional rivalries, and I would love to see a Lamar game in Houston at Texas Southern, and I'd like to see Prairie View come to Lamar and Beaumont too. So that would those games traditionally sell a lot of tickets at the gate.
Well, that's what I was just saying. I think you would actually have a more logistic and realistic money opportunity for both institutions involved. The travel would not be that great at all. As a matter of fact, those would even what I consider to call touchdown trips. Those are close enough where you could make that travel, play your game, and come back home if need be, if you were strapped for cash.
Right. Yeah, those are.
So what teams do you think would fit to either one, to the Southland or to the SWAC? And I guess we'll go with the Southland to the SWAC, and then we'll go from SWAC to Southland.
Well, I would just go with, any of these Texas schools. SFA would, obviously it's a couple hours from Houston. Sam Houston State, Huntsville, that's not too far. Abilene Christian, now that's a little further. That's not really a bus ride trip. But Lamar, Houston Baptist, I'd say any of those, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those four right there would be a perfect fit.
Okay, and if you were to flip the coin, which SWAC schools you think would be a good fit for?
I'd take Texas Southern, and I'd take Prairie View for sure. I would take Texas Southern and Prairie View, and I don't know, and I can't name the SWAC schools off the top of my head, but I would definitely include Texas Southern and Prairie View.
What about Grambling and Southern University?
Oh, well, I forgot about those too. Yeah, those aren't. That's not a bad bus ride either. You could even do that, and then you could add teams and have divisions. It's all doable. I don't know if that's on the table or whatnot, but in this age, anything's possible.
Anything is possible, my friend. And once again, we want to let you know how much we value you and appreciate what you bring to the table here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. He is Mr. Rob Butler. I know you want to get back to your Saints game. You got an update for us right now, man?
Let me see here. They just, I know it's in overtime. Let me see if they flash the score on there. Yeah, it's still tied at 23.
Still tied at 23. Yeah. Well, look, Rob, you keep doing a fantastic job, man. We're going to give you some closing thoughts and comments right now.
Okay. Spring football, I think that this is Sam Houston State's conference to win. I think Nichols comes in second, and then Southeastern Louisiana. There's some key games to look out for on Saturday, February 27th. Southeastern Louisiana is at Sam. On Saturday, March the 13th, Nichols is at Sam Houston State. And Saturday, April 10th, Southeastern Louisiana is at Nichols. I think Sam Houston State is going to take this conference. They're going to win the conference and go to the playoffs because they got a good quarterback in Eric Schmidt. He threw for over 1,700 yards and 12 TDs passing in only 8 games. and they have a strong defensive line. So that's my 2 cents. I'm picking Sam Houston State to win this conference in the spring.
All right, my man. And overall, I think you're pleased with what you saw this fall from your Southland football opponents.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, man. I think Houston Baptist was really, I almost saw them pull off a shocker. If they hadn't called a trick play in the red zone right before halftime, then they probably would have beaten Texas Tech. But Bailey Zappy's an awesome quarterback. And don't forget, he could come back in the fall. You don't lose a year of eligibility with this pandemic. So if he wanted to, he could probably improve his draft status. And Central Arkansas, they got 2 games left. They're probably not going to have a winning season because they got to go to Louisiana Raging Cajuns. But they are 4-4 this year. It's just been a blast, man. SFA's 3-3. They've had some fun. They beat Division II Western Colorado really bad this past Saturday. So all of these teams, including Abilene Christian, they're 1-3 this year, and they have had some tragedy. They lost their quarterback, Samaje Davis. He was in an automobile accident. Now he was in critical condition, but he's in stable condition now. So our thoughts and prayers go out to him. But Abilene Christian has Iowa transfer quarterback Peyton Manziel. He's been phenomenal this season. So all these schools have really given us a lot to watch this fall. I'm really looking forward to the spring, too.
All right, my man. Keep up the fantastic work. He is Mr. Rob Butler with the Southland Report here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're going to take a break, and we'll continue on with the rest of tonight's episode here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Keep it right where you got it. We will be right back, I promise. Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union has 13 different locations to better serve you. Locations in Rosenberg, Missouri City, Katy, College Station, Bryan, Brenham, and Waller, Texas. For more information, you can contact them on their toll-free number, 855-391-2149. Or you can send an email to information@bvscu.org.
It's the Open Mic with Dr. Mike. The Open Radio and the Mike Prince Show. The Open Mic Broadcast Network. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Join us for a daily episode of the Mike Prince Show right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
If you could do one thing to make an impact on the things that matter to your family, your community, and your country, wouldn't you do it? That's what voting is all about. An easy way to make a difference. Register, learn about the issues and candidates, and vote this November. Your vote helps shape the future of America. Visit www.vote411.org to get started. This is a public service announcement from Open Mic Broadcast Network.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sunday Night Live edition of the Mike Prince Show. Just finished up with the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline, Mr. Rob Butler from the Southland Report. Some very intriguing potential moves to be made, if they're going to be made, about the Southland Conference and where they would go, or at least try to go. But with the WAC trying to do what they're doing, I want to remind you guys that you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network. The website, obnradio.com. And the 24-hour dial-in message line, 713-570-6736. Back to this WAC deal. It sounds good. And the travel and the cost and the new way of doing things with testing now just seems a bit far-fetched for me. But stranger things have happened. There are many other programs adding sports, even though they're Olympic sports, and it's not as much to get these programs off the ground. But when you're talking about adding football, you are taking on an extremely tall order. And I just don't know. It just could be some strong whispers right now. But we'll closely monitor that to see how things unfold. And speaking of unfolding and the additional sports being added, EA Sports is taking off to higher heights and deeper depths. Learfield made an announcement with EA Sports about launching it and going deeper into this esports trend that is taken off the ground. A lot of schools are doing it. Schools even offering scholarships for it right now. Imagine that. You've been telling little Johnny, get off that computer, get off that game system. It's going to fry your brains. Now they're getting scholarships to play these games. And they're not just sport games. They're games of competition, Call of Duty, and all these other strategical war games. And it's real. It's not going anywhere. And it's just a sign of the times. I would have never thought that when we were kicking around playing Madden, that it could be leading to potentially paying for one's education. Wow. Times have really brought about. And we actually interviewed a young man who's the head coach of the esports program at Lord's University. And it was a minimum $300,000, $400,000 investment to get a program like that off the ground. When you talk about the hardware, the infrastructure for the internet accessibility, you have to have high-speed internet, and they do these on computers, not necessarily consoles. So it's going to be very interesting to see how those things unfold, and we'll keep you closely monitored on that. I know the Southwestern Athletic Conference is about to get into that. Other conferences are into it, and so it's something that is quickly on the rise. And speaking of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, the basketball media days will actually be on Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday, they'll have the release of men and women's basketball coaches and featured players. Be sure to check that out, SWAC.org on the digital network. And don't forget, Tuesday is also voting day. It's voting day, and you got to cast your vote. Does not matter who you're voting for. Just make sure that you cast your vote, because it does count. It does matter. So don't forget, it's a big, big week ahead of plans and great things happening. And don't forget, for you Cowboy fans, that you guys are the late night feature tonight, taking on the Eagles. Wow. Will the Cowboys be able to pull out the victory? All I'm concerned about is next Sunday, when the Cowboys host the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not going to be at Dallas Stadium. I'm not going to be at any one stadium. But I will be in the man cave, and I will be checking it out firsthand. And as they say, I will have my popcorn ready and ready to go. I don't think my wife's going to be speaking to me. She's a huge Cowboy fan. And I have not been giving her a hard time because, bless her heart, she really goes in with her emotions on it. Most of you Cowboy fans go in on your emotions, but it's not fun watching you this down. But it will be fun seeing if my Steelers can roll to 8-0 as they get ready to take on the Dallas Cowboys, quote unquote, America's team. That cracks me up. That really, really cracks me up. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to exit stage left for tonight. We want to thank our guests who have joined us on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. Mr. Gene Johnson, head football coach of the Waller Bulldogs. They'll get ready for the Magnolia Bulldogs in the Battle of the Bulldogs in Magnolia. We'll be making sure that we can get the stream. We can give you that play-by-play action right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. The Rose Hill Christian Eagles will have a bye this week. They'll get ready for their final home game final road game, and then ready for the playoffs. Also want to thank Mr. Rob Butler coming on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline, dropping some Southland knowledge and some projections and coulda, woulda, shouldas, and what ifs. Want to thank our sponsors on tonight, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Prairie View Athletic Club, Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Diva Skin Conditioner, Helping Hands Lawn Service, Temple of Refuge Ministries. The time has come where I must exit stage left. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. If the Lord says the same when the creek don't rise, we'll meet you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to get our week started. But right now, my time is up and I must go. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.